Hello guys, back again with another video. In this video I'm going to be showing you how we can reset a Linux root password. This video is strictly for educational purposes only, and I condemn any activity that may be done to harm others. So now on the screen before you, when you look here, we have two hard drives which are attached to our computer. I have this one and I also have this one for 151 GB. So this is the hard drive where the operating system is of Linux. We want to reset the password. So I removed this hard drive from my laptop, then I connected it to another laptop where I'm going to connect to this, then later I remove the password. So this trick I'm going to be showing you also helps you in case you were trying to update your Linux OS and it crashes, and if you don't want to lose data on your Linux machine, you can just remove out your drive, connect to another Linux machine, perform this trick and do the update again. So now here I'm going to come and open up my terminal, and here I'm going to say sudo fdisk -l, then I type my password. So if I type my password, we shall be able to see still our drives. Now this hard drive, it is div sdc1. This is a partition where Linux is installed, and when you try to see at the type, it says that this is Linux. So now this trick is different from all the tricks you see on YouTube where people tell you that you need to go to the rescue mode, or when your machine is booting, you press letter E on your keyboard so that you intercept the group, then you change the group so that you can get the bash. So now here all you need is a Linux bootable media. As you see, I already have Kali Linux, and you use that to access the Linux which is on the other partition. So now if it is the scenario for Ubuntu, you can download Ubuntu and use try Ubuntu than installing. Now for that trial version, it means you'll be able to get access to a terminal where we can use the terminal to reset our password. It's still the same thing here. When you open that terminal, you mount your drive, you run sudo fdisk. Here you see that they list all the drives I have inside my system, and this is the hard drive where the Linux is installed. So I'm going to clear this. So now here what we need to do, we need to mount this location to our current machine. So first I'm going to go to the location of mnt just like this, and we can list data here. So I have a folder here called Linux. Still, let us first try. If we don't have any data, you can go on and create a folder, or I can go on and say mkdir. Then I'm going to call this folder, I already have Linux, I'm going to call this folder new OS, just like this. So we have now this location, I need to be sudo. So I've created another folder which is called new OS. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mount my machine the other side. I mount it to this location here. So I'm going to clear my machine here, and let me just move back. So here I'm going to say sudo, then I'm going to say mount. We need to say mount and /div/sdc, just like this. So, and we are going to mount sdc1. that is a partition where our Linux is installed, and I'm going to mount this partition in /mnt/new OS and press enter. So if we go to this location, you are going to be sure that this is where Linux is installed by saying the file system hierarchy. So if we go to this location mnt/new OS, just like this, and if I list data here, you see that these are all the file system hierarchy in this Linux OS. So here, just follow up these steps. Now we are going to mount locations in this drive to our machine so that we shall be able to get access to our OS. So now here you are going to say sudo Now here you are going to say mount. Now here you are going to say minus bind, just like that, bind. Then here we are going to mount a slash div, and this slash div we are going to mount it to mnt and new OS, just like that. And in this new OS we need this div directory which is present here, so like that. So just a sudo mount minus bind div to our div in the new OS which we mounted. So press enter. I'm going to just copy this command again, then I'm going to paste it here. So let me just type it again, sudo. Now here instead of the div I'm going to change this. We want to mount proc, and I'm going to also come here and I change this to proc, just like that. Press enter. So we need to mount a third partition. The third partition is going to be sys. Let me also change this to sys, just like that. So we need to also mount a fourth. Now this one, it is optional. You can mount run, and also let me change this to run and press enter. So after mounting all these partitions, we are going to use chroot so that we can get access to our operating system here. So I can say chroot, just like that. Then here I'm going to say /mnt /new OS, just like that. Press enter. So now if you see here they say operation not permitted. Sometimes when you try to access chroot you need to be a super user or you need to be a root. So I'm going to just repeat the same command, but I'm going to try this time with sudo. So now in case it fails, I may also be forced to call out the bash directly from this OS. Let me just try this. So if I press enter, now when you try to see here, since the operating system I'm using, it changes the shell, so I'm going to be specific of what I want to call out. So I'm going to repeat the same command, but this time I'm going to say bin/bash, just like that. So when I press enter, you see that right away we get access to our root user. So now don't mind about the domain. Here we see that we have root at Kali. So now here we have access to our root of this operating system. Now let's say your operating system had crashed when you're trying to update your Linux. Now still here you can just proceed with the installation or uninstall the files which you are installing previously which made your OS to crash. But now since we have a root, now here when I say who am I, just like that, you see they are telling us that this is root. Now for some of you may say that this guy has access to the Kali Linux. When you see here Kali Linux, let us first try to test this. Here we are going to say grep. Now here I'm going to say version. Now here I'm going to check in the etc. I'm going to say OS and use a word card here. So if I press enter, you see that they are telling us this version of ID it is 12, and we have bookworm, and the code name is bookworm. For a fact this is known to the current OS which I'm using. Let me open up another terminal and I'm going to type the same command of grep. Now here I'm going to say version, then here let us say etc, then OS /OS minus, and we use asterisk. So now if you see my current OS uses Kali loading as its code name, now this one it is bookworm. So the current OS it is called Qtfish OS. This is a Linux distro. So now in case you want to reset the password, here you can just say passwd. Now if you don't declare the username, it means you are going to reset the password for the root user. So now before we set the password, let us just say cd/home. Now inside their home, this is where we can find all users to our system. We see that in this OS we only have one user, which is called Greenet. So in case we want to change the password for Greenet, you can just say pass wd and you do Greenet, you provide the name. So if we press enter, they ask us for a new password. Let me give 123, press enter, 123. So you see our password has been updated. Now here you finish to reset the password of your Linux distro. Here I've used Kali Linux to provide me with a graphical interface where I mounted the drive or another partition where my Linux is, and that partition, that's where I want to reset my password. You see that in a few minutes resetting, our password is done. Now remember, I told you this is going to be easy, and also you may find challenges when you are running this, but in case you follow up all the steps I've showed you, everything will be perfect. So now here all I need to do it is to exit out of this, then we are back to our normal user. So now I have to go back and unmount everything, then remove my hard drive, put it in a machine and boot to that machine. Now in case your hard drive is still inside your machine, all you just need to do is to reboot. But when it comes to viewing all the partition, I think your hard drive, it will be /div /sda, just like that, or it will be sda1, a partition where your Linux will be installed. So thanks for watching. Give a thumbs up. Feel free to leave a comment in case you're stuck somewhere, and you can also share these videos to those that might be interested. Have a great day. Peace.